What is happening, AJ Gamer Dude here, and Avowed has been delayed from February 2025 to, from 2024 to Feb 2025. Now, Xbox has announced that it's delaying Avowed from later in 2024 to April 18th, 2025 to give players backlogs some breathing room, and in fact it's probably giving Xbox some more breathing room, but we'll get to that in a moment. So many games coming. As such, we've moved Avowed to February 18th, 2025 to give some players backlog some breathing room, Xbox wrote. Stay tuned for more from our games across Activision Blizzard, Bethesda, and Xbox Game Studios at Gamescom, including our August 23 livestream for a look at Avowed. Now, worth pointing out, but previously it was actually rumored that Avowed was going to be dropping sometime in November. I think it was supposed to be mid-November, because that was part of some news that was released by the studio head on the Avowed website, or the Obsidian website, or something to that extent, but then it was changed to remove the actual date that was mentioned. And I would rather say it's not actually giving players backlogs breathing room. I think it's giving Xbox some more breathing room, because Xbox has a lot of first party releases that are going to be happening this year, and here's a look at what that looks like for the remainder of the year. World of Warcraft: The War Within, dropping August 26, 2024. We're currently at the beginning of August, so end of the month we should be getting that. And maybe like a week or so later, I think we're looking at. Hold on, let me look at the calendar as well. So yes, a week later we're getting Age of Mythology Retold, September 4th, 2024. And then less than 3 weeks later we get Our History Untold, September 24, 2024. And then looking at this, the week after, we get Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred, October 8th, 2024. A couple of weeks later, or rather 2.5 weeks later, we get Call of Duty Black Ops 6. And also 3 weeks later, we get Microsoft Flight Simulator. Well, 3.5 weeks, technically speaking. We are awaiting a date for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Starfield Shattered Space Expansion, and Towerborn. Now, the reason why I wanted to mention these three at the bottom that don't have an exact date is while they're expected to release in 2024, consider the fact that from August till say mid-November, we already have 6 games, right? And we have another 3 one major expansion and 2 major games, specifically Indiana Jones and the Great Circle being a big one, Call of Duty being a big one, Microsoft Flight Simulator also being a big one, Diablo 4, that's probably mostly just for the Diablo fanbase really, but I don't think that has really expanded all that much. And for the history buffs, we've got Our History Untold and Age of Mythology Retold. That being said, they're both kind of different types of 4X titles, so I don't imagine that there's actually going to be a lot of people interested in that, especially since strategy isn't one of the biggest genres in the world, but still though, it should be treated as a big release regardless, because again, we're talking about first party Xbox titles here. So to move that into February and then moving on from that, anything else that's also kind of within the similar space of 2025 is South of Midnight, Doom the Dark Ages, and Fable, though it's probably not worth talking too much about Doom the Dark Ages, only because that is a multi-platform title. I think it's that, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, that are across multiple console platforms, I should say, because I'm not going to be counting PC in this, because I would assume that every title here should have a PC version releasing alongside it. So it seems like finally Xbox is getting its act together and actually releasing some titles, and they seem to also be sort of having a pretty good cadence, especially for the remainder of the year. And I'm specifically only looking at the stuff that has concrete dates. Of course, that's not to say that those dates aren't going to change or things could be delayed in the future. It's just worth kind of keeping that sort of thing in mind. In saying that, I am interested to see what the remainder of the year looks like, and I do believe that, like, looking at this type of release schedule, it does actually make me think of how Titanfall 2 released in between Battlefield and Call of Duty, and ultimately ended up selling the least, unfortunately, due to it being a time where like futuristic shooters were kind of in the know, because this is when Black Ops was going like, full on futuristic, or we got Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare, that sort of Call of Duty titles. Battlefield went back to Battlefield 1, so that's what released in 2016. So yeah, unfortunately that was just kind of really bad timing. So just being able to, I feel like that's kind of the new struggle that Xbox is going to have to get through, by owning so many first party IPs, so many first party studios, and having so many games in the pipeline. Managing release dates and schedules are going to be an absolute nightmare for the company. So I can't imagine what that looks like, especially since they're they are the biggest at the moment in terms of overall headcount and the number of staff that they have, and also in terms of games that are being released from a first party perspective. That being said, though, that hasn't necessarily increased the quality of the titles, at least not yet. We are yet to see. Again, the last big game that came out from Xbox was Starfield, and that was a very divisive title, and I feel like still continues to be, because it still very much is a Bethesda game, both for better and for worse. So it'll be interesting to see how the games that are released moving forward are going to be treated. Are they going to actually have some very quality staying power? And if so, will that actually increase Xbox's standing from a consumer perspective, especially since they've kind of been, again, on the lower end, especially with what's happened earlier on in the year. And I can't let people forget what happened to Tango Gameworks being shut down just because their last game was just not successful enough. So take that for what it's worth. I just kind of wish we still had Tango. But yeah, with all of that being said, let me know what you guys think about all of that in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 300 subs by the end of the year. I do also have a Patreon. If you feel like I deserve a few bucks and you want to toss it my way, that's also linked in the description below. I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.